Well, for string skipping, it just happened because it was so easy to take a lick that I already had. I could take a lick like, which had this sort of an architecture of 3 notes on a string, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and just up and down. And you just kind of stretch it out and put it on 2 strings and get, and it felt the same. It took basically no practice to make that happen, because the picking pattern was the same, the left hand, the architecture of it was the same, and so I was getting like all these licks for free when I discovered it. But the lucky thing was the picking style that I used worked for it. And a lot of the students that I've got, the thing that tangles them up is they're trying to pick every note. And that actually, for these kind of string skipping licks, it messes that up. I don't pick every note. I pick almost every note. There's a couple little places where I let the left hand do a hammer on or a pull off, and that gives you just enough time to get your pick over that string skip. And it's not something I planned or worked out. It just was a stroke of luck. But it actually evolved out of trying to do like sort of, your vintage rock and roll. Those kind of licks, which is actually a really challenging one. This one, it's because it's 1 note per string. That's the pattern, though. And that's as inefficient as it could be. There's no way to do that. I mean, if you sweep picked it, it would screw up the rhythm. Instead of being ba 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 ba, it would be like ba-da-dip, 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 and that's not the rhythm I'm going for. You need an even, a very even rhythm. And so when I'm doing that sweep picking, string skipping stuff, it's not exactly the same, but the techniques that I got from doing the are directly linked to doing that stuff or doing the. Oh, let me get the ending. Or all that stuff is really based on like the Lynyrd Skynyrd solos that I learned as a teenager. They're that kind of licks. They're real basic core stuff, but it's it's all linked up to 70s rock, and it's just stretched out a little bit. And in a way, it's linked to punk rock, because when you play a punk rock song, you tend to have a power chord and a lot of position shifting. If you go to like the early influences of punk, something like All Day and All Night, that's a big shift, going all the way from the 1st fret to the 6th fret. That's a fast move. And so, when you're doing, let me play a little better, let's see. There we go. There's some quick moves in there for the position shifting, but no quicker than this. So, it's punk in the 70s, sort of molded with these, notes that you steal from Bach. And, it makes people go, ooh. Scarified, oh my goodness. That all began with a Scott Travis double bass extravaganza. He was playing it in rehearsal one day, and I came in and thought, that's the coolest drum thing I've ever heard. So I tried to come up with something that would go along with that with guitar. And I had been working on a Johann Christian Bach harpsichord concerto. Sounds very pretentious, but it's a great piece of music. And I couldn't figure it out exactly. I did it by ear, so I kind of got my own version of it, and put that in between the Scott Travis riffs, and the song was born. And I remember the first time we played it live, it got the most amazing reaction. And it hadn't been released on a record yet. We just threw it in our live set, and all of a sudden the whole room just exploded after we played that thing. And that's sort of been in my set list ever since then. Man, I got to work to maintain that thing. It's a beast to play that one, but that's good. It's I suppose if I had a hit, if my big hit was Gloria, I might get lazy. But with Scarified, I got to do some work.